Welcome back to the AGP slot. In this video we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to take another break from all the retro stuff and we're going to install Alma Linux on a Dell micro PC. And what we're going to do with that is try and use Claude Code to fully remaster Soldier of Fortune 2. Now this is a huge task and I've already tried for almost a week to get it to work on my local desktop. And I kept running into roadblocks and just like the plan breaking down and it not being able to test things accurately. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it all on this tiny little micro PC, and since it'll all be running on that single box, we're just going to let it do whatever it wants. If it destroys the whole system, so be it. Now there are some open source versions of Soldier of Fortune 2 multiplayer, but I'm not sure how complete they are or if they even function. So what we're going to do is fully upgrade everything, including the engine, the rendering, sound, everything. It's going to all have to compile and work under Linux, and we're going to try and do it all from scratch. So it'll still have access to those repos on GitHub and like the OpenJK repo and stuff like that, but it's going to do a complete overhaul and only reference the code to try and get it all working. That means everything has to work, all the guns, map loading, team deathmatch, game modes, stuff like that, hit detection, the ghoul engine with all the gore and blood. So a lot of things that have to actually function. And we're also going to try and upgrade the netcode to something called eNet, I believe it's called. Like I said, I tried this before on my desktop and wasn't making a whole lot of progress, so what we need to do is just let it access the full system, pull everything down, and just let it do everything possible to get it to work. So the first I got without using this system here is I got the game loading and I got some bots spawned in and I could shoot all of them, but it just didn't feel right. Like everything was just like a little bit off. And of course half the things were just broken, or when it said it implemented it, it actually wasn't there or not visible, and you couldn't really tell a difference every time it would like add a feature and then build it. So we need to try a different approach. So Alma's downloaded and I'm gonna put it on a flash drive and get it installed on this other system here. So anyway, let's get that started and then we'll be back at the install phase. By the way, don't ever buy one of these. There's always some weird startup issue. Alright, you probably can't see that, but it looks pretty good. Got most of the data on slash. Normally it puts like a separate home folder and that's not what we want. Server with GUI. Probably just workstation. And we're just gonna give it the password because I want it to be able to do anything. We're gonna have it install packages and all that. Alright, I think everything looks good. I generally grab the DVD every time, so this should be a lot faster than trying to go over the network. Should be all right there on the USB drive. So why Alma? Well, it's based off Rel 10, and that's what I've been using on my desktop, so I think it'll be a lot easier to use than just putting like Fedora on it or something. So I know how everything works, I know like the package structure, stuff like that. And that's mainly what I use Claude Code on as well, so it'll just make my life a little bit easier. Alright, we're booting for the first time. Like I said, we're gonna give this thing full root access to do whatever it wants. But first let me configure this, get it all like set up the way I like with scaling and, you know, looking right. Otherwise it's gonna be too small to see. Alright, I got the dark theme and I just swapped the resolution to 1440p. I'm not gonna really be using this system, so the little bit of input lag is not gonna really matter too much. It is a little bit annoying, but I'd rather have a little bit more like desktop performance than, you know, 4K. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get Tabby, which is probably my favorite terminal to use. It's just a little bit nicer than the built-in GNOME one. I'm not sure why the hostname is Mandriva, because I did have that installed previously, but this is definitely Alma, so I'm going to change that. Alright, now we need to get Claude Code. And I have the max subscription, so that's what we're going to use. Alright, Claude is now up and running. So what I want to do now is update the system and then reboot. And one more thing, should probably get the EPEL and enable CRB since we're going to be actually like compiling code and stuff. And who knows what packages Claude might want to install. So we'll just get that out of the way. And that way it doesn't have to like do it itself. Actually, can we have Claude do it? Because that would be cool. Alright, what I want to do is... yeah, now we're living on the edge. Alright. So what this says is it has full system access and I wanted to install EPEL and then enable CRB. Well, it's not running as root, so... there we go. And then while we're here, I'm just going to get a couple things. We're going to use Compound Engineering and Ralph. I want the plug-in, so we'll do Awesome Claude. Okay. Alright, that should be installed now. We're just going to reboot. Alright, we're back up. And now what I want to do is go to GitHub and find a couple repos for Soldier of Fortune 2. And possibly OpenJK as well. So that way it can use those as like a reference and then kind of build its own thing based off of that. Because I went the whole from scratch route and it ended up just pulling some of the GitHub stuff anyway. So if we just like give it some references, it might speed up the process a little bit. So this is a fork of OpenJK that was modified to work with Soldier of Fortune. And I don't know how well it actually works, or if it does at all. But we're going to go off this and a few other things. Make a projects folder. And then we're just going to clone that straight in there. And then we're also going to grab OpenJK. And I know there's a few other things in here. So this is the SDK. So I believe this is just for like you making like mods or something. But it has so much code in here, like it has all the ghoul stuff. Like maybe this is just so you can link against the SOF2MP like library files or something like that. But there's also like actual source code too. So I'm not really sure what this is, because I don't think it's like a full-on like working multiplayer that you can just compile, and if you have the PK3s it works, you know. So we'll grab it anyway. Apparently this is like some guy like updated like an older version to work with the gold edition, so it might need it. And then I'm just gonna poke around some more, see if I can find anything. Okay, so here's a dedicated server engine. This might be useful. So I'm gonna grab it too. See if we can find anything else. Well, there's one FX mod, but I don't think that... It's just a mod, it's not actually like anything that useful for this purpose. Yeah, I don't really see anything else. So those are the main ones, unless I want to grab like IO Quake. Possibly this one. Oh, it's a fork. I know they have the source code. Probably just... Yeah, no source. Oops. Oh, IOQ3, there it is. Okay, we'll grab that too. I think I'll make like an SOF2 folder. And then we're gonna do workspace plan and not hit enter. Workflows plan, that's what it is. Now what I need to tell it is that it can basically do whatever it wants with this system. And we're trying to remaster Soldier of Fortune 2. So it needs to create a very long detailed plan of like all the features of Soldier of Fortune 2. And then also tell it that it can utilize like the existing repos that I just cloned as like a reference basically. And that it needs to be like a full remake remaster with like modern graphics engines with like BGFX and MGUI and stuff like that, and support like OpenGL and Vulkan so that it can actually work on Linux. And possibly some other stuff about like it can take screenshots and then view the screenshots so that way like it can automatically detect if there's like an issue. So yeah, let me get started on that. And the more detailed the plan is, the better it's gonna be. So it needs to be very comprehensive. So I'm not sure if I should just make it create like a Claude MD, and then that'll have like all the plan information, like what we're trying to do, and then it'll automatically be read like every time Claude runs in this directory. Because what I did on my own was I had like a custom Claude MD file that was just like basic like software engineer type stuff, and then I had a plan which had like all the details of what needed to be done, and it kind of worked, but the results were like not that great. So maybe just make it have like a very detailed Claude MD, but also it shouldn't have too much stuff, so maybe not. I think what I'll do is I'll just tell it what I want it to do, and then maybe it'll write some file out. Actually, you know what? Let's do... I think I want to try like an init. We'll do init first. So what this is going to do is it's going to look through all the folders and files in this projects folder, and it's going to write a Claude MD with like details about stuff. So this should give us like basic structure and stuff like that. So maybe that'll speed things up and it'll be a little bit easier for it to find certain files. So this is going to take a very long time, it seems. It's been 3 minutes. I think what I'll do is I'll turn down the thinking to low, because otherwise it's going to keep spinning. Like I've tested Opus 4.5 and 4.6, and I found 4.5 was a lot better. Like it came to like quicker realizations and was able to fix certain bugs faster in code. Whereas Opus 4.6, it would just like keep like reiterating the same thing and not understanding where to look for the problem. And then I had to prompt it like a second time to actually fix the issue. And then it finally did it, so it took like twice as long. So yeah, maybe just swap the model or turn the thinking down. Wow, 80,000 tokens for that. But that's the thing. So this model, I believe, has a really big context window compared to 4.5, so it might be worth actually keeping 4.6, but just turn thinking down. While we're at it, might as well get Zed. Oh, you know what? Oh, it did it. Nice. So that didn't actually require any permissions to install. That's cool. Anyway, what we're gonna do is read that Claude MD. I don't need that anymore. Projects, Claude MD. Alright. Okay, project overview. IdTech engine derivatives, yep. Yeah, and all these projects are GPL, which is pretty cool. So if this actually manages to like work, maybe I'll release it. Okay. Now I don't think we need build instructions for any of these, so I'm just gonna get rid of that. Yes, I found this out and had to do so much work to like fix some stuff. So this looks pretty good, I think. But what I want to do is get Claude to actually update that and say we're gonna be like working on a remaster. So it needs to like fill in some data here. So maybe we can change thinking down a little bit. Yeah, alright. Low effort. Otherwise, it's just gonna think forever and never actually do any work. I guess we'll do this one, the workflows. And I'm gonna tell it to update Claude MD. I think that's all I'm gonna give it for now. We'll see what it does. Yeah, we're gonna start from scratch. And we're gonna do pure C++. We'll do CMake. I can tell it to use Wayland, otherwise it's gonna try and do X11 stuff. I think that's about it. I should probably tell it that, well, I can just add it manually, but it has full access to the system and it can install whatever and give it the root password so it always has it. I don't know if it added... Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. Soldier Fortune 2 Remaster, built-in SF2 directory, fresh C++, Linux Wayland only, which if we're using modern stuff, then we can always retarget later and get it working on Windows. Because we're just going to use OpenGL and Vulkan. Mainly OpenGL just because this Intel graphics thing probably doesn't support it. But it should work fine if we want to port it later. Okay. Informed by them, that's perfect. I should probably set up sudo so it doesn't require a password. Yeah. Well, the password's password, so it doesn't really matter. You can commit that whenever you want. Alright. Still asking for password. That's great. Why don't we just get Claude to do it? I don't think it needs a reboot for sudo errors. Alright. See, why am I like Googling and typing random stuff into sudo errors when I can literally have Claude do it perfectly? Like, there's no point. Did it say something about sudo in here? See, I don't think it updated it. Unless this didn't refresh. Okay. Okay. Alright, now we're gonna actually create a plan. So this part should be detailed, because we're telling it exactly what we want it to do, and it's gonna have to like figure out things on its own as well. Like it needs to use BGFX as the renderer. There needs to be like collision detection. It needs to be able to load maps. Have bots that walk around, be able to crouch, jump, lean. Have a user interface that looks like identical. All those things. I think that's pretty good. So basically I'm telling it to use BGFX MGUI and that it must support OpenGL or Vulkan to work on Linux, and that all features must be present from the original game, specifically the multiplayer, and that it can take screenshots and essentially do whatever it wants to the system. So we're gonna try that. Okay, priority. Rendering is most important. We want everything. One thing I forgot is I need to copy the assets. So it's going to use original assets. Full port. Hopefully it asks me more questions, because when I first did this, it did go through a lot of stuff. Audio backend. Yeah, we'll do OpenAL. No, we're gonna do SDL. Because that should work everywhere. And then we'll do SDL3, which is great. Full bot support. Yeah. See, like I said earlier, using eNet. So we'll use eNet again. Like, you want to use as many third-party libraries as possible. You don't want it to like re-implement networking or pathfinding or stuff like that. For rendering, yeah, we'll just use SDL3. Okay, if it integrates with CMake, I don't know. I have used Catch too. It is pretty good. I'm gonna use that. Yes, I have them. Modding. I guess, because this needs to be like a full remaster. It needs to support everything. But it's like, what questions is it not asking, right? Like, there's probably stuff that I don't know that even exists in the game that it should be adding, should be supporting. Is it actually running stuff in the background? Let's see, I have not used compound engineering yet. This is the first time. Okay, so it actually is running stuff in the background. That's pretty cool. Alright. Well, while it's doing that, I'm going to copy the game files over. My week of use on this just reset, so... And I'm on the highest tier max plan, so we'll see if this can, like, turn out something good. I'm hoping I don't have to interact with it too much. I just want it to, like, do everything and test it on its own in, like, a massive loop. So if I have to keep, like, coming down here to try it out, I'm gonna have to set up, like, a KVM. The only reason I'm not doing this in a VM is so it can actually run the game and test it. I could do like some GPU pass-through type of thing. I have graphics cards in my servers, but they're currently being used, so yeah, this is probably the best solution. Plus it's on its own like dedicated little device. And then here's the specs. 9600T, 6 cores, 16 gigs of RAM, 240 gig SSD. Believe it's NVMe. So yeah, it's like pretty decent. You know, it's not like the latest thing, but these are pretty cheap on eBay. So, purpose-built task, it's pretty good for that. Alright, Claude's done. Ooh, deepen plan? Yeah. Enhance. I'm gonna try and open that. See what it's doing. Although it might be like a hidden folder. Docs. Oh, here we go. Nice. Okay. Complete remaster of Soldier Fortune 2 multiplayer. Fresh C++ engine. BGFX. MGUI SDL3 ENIT Catch 2. Nice. Yeah, School to Dismemberment. Yep. Okay. Reference code. Cool. Weapons and movement. So nothing in here about like OpenJK. Okay, so this is what it's actually gonna start doing. And this is very similar to what I ended up having done with Claude on like my desktop. So it made these like huge plans, but I don't think they were like super flushed out. So like I only got some basic things to work, and then there were just so many bugs. Like now I can like walk around and stuff, but there's like so many little things that it just can't seem to fix. So if it has all the reference files, then maybe it can figure it out. Okay, so now here's some OpenJK stuff for the animations system. Okay. Yeah, like I literally let it run on my desktop for like a week, basically. It would just take like an hour to implement like one feature, and then I wouldn't even know how to like test it out because the game looked exactly the same as before. So, or like it would say it implemented the UI, but it's like you hit escape and then nothing happens. It's like, okay, did you actually do anything? Audio, UI, HUD, server browser, bot AI, particle, string effects, mods. Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah, I found that out too. So what I did was I had two projects going. I had one that was like a full remake with like not much like source access, and then the second one I did had all the source access, where it was just like, okay, I'm gonna upgrade the rendering engine to BGFX, and I couldn't even get that to work because like Ghoul was like intertwined with literally every aspect of it, and then all I could do was like, I got to the menu, but it wasn't rendering the menu correctly. It was like all red and white, so it was like all messed up, and I told it to like look for bugs and gave screenshots, and it could not figure out anything. So kind of gave up on that and went back to working on the first project, and now I'm working on a third project here. Okay, last agent here. Check in on it, why not? Still running. 31 gaps identified. Game state, spectator mode. Okay. DL open mod loading. Like, as far as I know, mods didn't have any like DLLs or library files. It was all just done through like PK3s and like UI scripts, and maybe that like the Quake VM engine or whatever. Okay, we're gonna compact soon. Come on, figure it out before that happens. So once this is done, I'm gonna check out the plan again, see if it added anything different. So one other thing is Soldier Fortune 2 doesn't use the Quake 3 BSPs. They use the Raven BSP format. And that took me like an entire day to just get loading. And still it only works with JOR 1. Initially it was trying to use like Shop, and Shop was working. And then tried to get JOR 1 to work, and it broke all the other maps. So yeah, I never went back because I just wanted to get something working. Compacting. So, did it write it though? Wonder. I don't know if auto refresh is working, so just gonna reload it. Okay. Okay, security sentinel. Yeah, we're not gonna be loading modules and stuff, like, no. Okay, so it added this stuff here. Optimizations, probably just rendering. Stability testing. Okay. Anything new at the top here? Basically just looks like it, well, it deepened the plan, obviously, because there's more like information. Like it had like the basic stuff, and then it added like parse Q3 style shader files for PK3s, stuff like that. Like additional information for each step. I don't know how much testing it's going to be able to do on its own besides like writing actual like C++ tests and then running that. And besides like that and like basic screenshots, because it's not gonna be able to like walk around in the game and like shoot somebody and see if they get dismembered. I don't think. Can we do a technical review? I'd give it a plan. You know what? Let's run it on the Claude MD file first. So maybe this will like fill in some gaps, because your Claude MD shouldn't really be that big, otherwise it's just gonna fill up your context. I mean, this whole plan here is freaking huge. How many lines is this? Probably over 1,000. I think it was like 600 to 800. Now it's over like almost 1,200. But you know, if it goes step by step, you know, it does step 1.1 first, and it's like, okay, it tests everything, works, and it goes on to this one. It's not going to be that bad for your context, I don't think. Okay, this might take a while. 5 local agents, jeez. Yeah, we're going to chew through this weekly limit, I think. Especially if this can just run full auto and you don't have to do anything. So is this going to review it or just like actually make changes? Just going to see what it does. Maybe we can skip this for the actual remaster plan. Might not really be necessary. I'm just kind of wasting time here. Yeah, this looks like it's just like doing code reviews. Like it's not meant for this. It's meant for like picking apart some changes it just made to actual code, not your Claude MD. But we'll see what it does. 6 refinements needed. Yeah, that makes sense, having like separate binaries. Okay. So it did... Wait. SSBO. Is that in this plan here? Okay, what about Claude? Okay, it definitely read this plan then. Like it didn't just update or edit, look at Claude. Apply these findings. Should I just tell it to do it all? Yep, that's what we're doing. Oh god, large rewrite. Well, if it improves the plan, then it's totally worth it before we actually start coding anything. Alright, it fully revised the plan. As you can see. Don't really feel like reading all of this. But I guess it like rephrased a lot of things. Looks like it changed some of the numbers too. Like the steps in the plan. I don't know if that matters or if it just like move things around. Anyway. Now before I do anything, I gotta turn off like auto suspend because I saw like a little notification about it, and I don't want this PC going to sleep. Ah, there we go. So I did change the performance and don't blank the screen because it's gonna actually need to see things if it does screenshots. Anyway, let's see. Execute plans efficiently. Okay, are we gonna start coding? Okay, I have to specify copy path. Massive plan. Yeah, you could say that. Greenfield implementation. Yep. $150+ tasks. Oh my. I mean, I don't want to have to just look at this for a while, so we're just gonna do it all. Yeah, we'll do a git repo. I'll tell it where they are. Base. The goal is for this to just keep going until it's done. Alright, well now it's working on the code. There's not really much for me to do or say about it. So I think I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna come back when it actually has something done. Either like, I don't know, just a window working, or maybe like some kind of map loaded. Something basic. Or it'll just completely like finish the whole thing instantly. Which would be awesome. But I kinda doubt it. So yeah, what I'm gonna do now is probably set up a KVM possibly. Just so I don't have to keep like running down here to look at it.
I am not your father.
Anyway, what I'm gonna do now, after I get the KVM set up, is just let it run. Check in on it every once in a while. Come back when there's something to actually look at. And hopefully the system doesn't completely brick. Actually, what I should probably do is back up those plans. Because if I don't and it somehow deletes everything, that's gonna be an issue. I don't have to do that again, because I think I got a pretty good setup going right now. And I'll see you back in a couple days, probably. Alright, it's the next day, and it finally completed. Now, surprisingly, this only took overnight. And it appears to have done everything. At least everything in the plan. So, it might actually be functional. I know it wrote like a ton of asserts to like test everything with catch. But I don't know how many things that's actually gonna catch. So, what we're gonna have to do now is just try it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna tell it to run. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not sure if it actually finished. Okay, I just ran the test. Non-visual phases. Wait, did it only do phase 1? Let me ask it. Because it looks like it didn't actually finish the rendering stuff, like map loading. I think this is a tabby bug, actually, where it keeps scrolling up. Seems to only happen after like a very long time. If you make a new tab, it's fine, and then like hours later, it'll just start randomly scrolling up. It's pretty cool that it calls like other models to do different work, because the other ones are like faster for certain tasks and don't need to be like super accurate with Opus. Okay, so it seems to have only done networking, and there's not going to be anything for me to really test. Wait, check off phases 1 and 3 since code already exists. Does it though? Alright, I think what we gotta do then is just clear, and then we're gonna just let it work. Yep. Alright, we'll just run this again. So I guess only networking is done. Maybe it made files, but it didn't implement stuff. And it is using Git, so every time it makes like a change, it commits it. Oh man, we should check that out. It's probably like so much stuff in there. See if it made a repo in here. Yep. Git log. Okay. Yeah. Alright. Phase 1. Game loop. Okay, it's using C++ 23 now, which is good. Successfully loads PK3s. Collision. BGFX. Git submodule. Player movement. Okay, there's so many things. I don't really want to look at all of them. But that's good, because then it knows, like, where it screwed something up later, like, down the road. Okay, I guess it did do that. Tell it to do everything. And then hopefully, like last night, it just will code forever till it's done. Okay. Well, let's see if there's some kind of binary in here that I can run. There's SOF2 client. Ooh. Okay. This is map shop. Yeah, performance is not the best, but I think that's just because... Well, it could be debug mode. Wait, it's running Vulkan? I didn't know this Intel chip could do Vulkan. But yeah, it's probably just because of this crappy integrated thing. But it is rendering stuff. Missing like some textures and... This camera moving forward and backward is like backwards. Wow, it even has like a debug menu here. So you can like test no clip and stuff. Escape to quit. Cool. So we got something working already, and we just let it do its thing. So yeah, next step, I think just let it do all this stuff. I mean, let's see what it just did. Phase 4, ghoul. Yeah, the problem is I don't know if it knows how to test that textures are not working and there's like some invisible walls and stuff. Because I also had that issue when I did this like the first time. So maybe when it actually finishes everything, just tell it to like write as many asserts as possible and to test it. I don't know, we're just gonna let it do this and then I'll probably be back later tonight. Right now it's 11:26. Maybe I'll come back around like 8 or 9 o'clock and shoot some more, see what it did. But yeah, but with this compound engineering thing, it actually will like do everything and you don't have to sit there and babysit it, which is awesome. So for like a big project like this, that's what you really need. You can't be like sitting there all the time being like, yeah, do this, do this, do this, when it just needs to like do it all on its own, automated. So yeah, quick update, I'll be back tonight to check it out again, or when it finishes more stuff, I guess. Okay, it's now the evening of the same day, and I've been working on this throughout the day as well, because it kept getting stuck on different things and I had to tell it to keep fixing and adding stuff to the plan. So what I did was I made it add more details to the plan, like deepen it like we did at the beginning, and then it implemented stuff, and then I had it make more tests, and then it fixed all the tests, and then it implemented some more rendering stuff that it was missing. So it had like a lot of gaps that it just wasn't picking up, and now it just finished all the rendering stuff. So we're gonna test it and we're gonna see what happens. Kind of expecting like nothing to be different, to be honest, because this is the same issue I had before when I did it like a week ago. It would add new stuff, fix things, and then it felt and looked identical, like it basically like didn't do anything. So anyway, we're gonna try it out and we're just gonna see what happens. I did try it earlier and it looked exactly the same, so let's just see. Okay, yep, that's definitely worse. So you can see like now there's even less detail, like it's not a wireframe, but there's like textures missing, there's like weird popping, there's no shadows. That was a ladder. You can kind of see this map. Like these ladders here are probably part of the elevator system. I know there's like 2 elevators here. This might be like a ramp that goes up to it or something, I don't know. Or stairs. There's also stairs on the other side of this, I think, as you can see there. So yeah, we're gonna have to keep prompting it and telling it that the rendering does not work properly. I think first I'm gonna tell it to build it again, just in case like something didn't work right, and if there's a problem then it'll just fix it. Okay, I guess it's doing a full rebuild because it changed some headers, possibly some bugs. Engine client and client. PSP renderer. Okay, it's committing stuff. Okay, well I guess it's done. Okay, same. Yeah, this is like kind of a problem, like it's not actually rendering anything right. See if there's like another thing in here. Because I know it said something about engine client. Maybe these just get linked together or something. Haven't actually looked at the code or how any of it works. I think it's just gonna be impossible, like you can't maintain this. You basically have to rely on the AI to actually fix anything. So I guess what I'll do is maybe just keep trying to prompt it, trying to fix like rendering, and then I'm just gonna assume that's gonna take like a while, so I'll probably just fast forward through it, and then we'll be back when we get some kind of progress, I guess. So gonna get into it. Okay, I guess all the tests passed except for some like weapon stuff. Try it again. Well, 0 changes, and the mouse positioning is backwards. That's cool. So when I move it left, it moves right. When I go right, it goes left. Yeah, that's fun. And also the forward and backwards are backwards. You know, I think the rendering's different though, because there's less detail. But yeah. Oh wait. Oh, we have a little bit of color coming through. Yeah, what the heck is this though? Oh, okay. I know where we are in the map. So those are the lights. This is like a podium thing in the MP shop. Yeah. Okay. Definitely have more work to do. So I think what I'm gonna do is just prompt it here, because if we keep going back without like compacting, like clearing things, then it's not gonna know like what was just fixed, I feel like, and it's not gonna be able to like continue on. Not really sure how to describe exactly what I'm seeing. I guess I could give it a screenshot. This is what I was doing on my desktop. There's nothing in the clipboard, are you serious? Oh, is this because of like Tmux or something? Okay. Maybe. No. So why is this not going in the clipboard then? Just gonna blame Wayland. Because what else would it be? Well, it has full access. Maybe I could just say, look at the screenshots. Yeah, I don't know why I cannot paste an image, because it works perfectly fine on my desktop, but on here it's like, it says there's nothing in clipboard. Even if I copy it. What was I doing? Dark blue rectangle in the screenshot. Yeah, that's part of the corruption. Yes, it has always been this corrupted. So if we can't even get the map working correctly, just imagine how many other bugs there are. Like, it's just ridiculous. And I don't know how you could actually fix that, because even if you go step by step and test each thing individually to make sure it's like flawless, there's just too many things, and then you're not gonna be able to know like what you're missing from that plan that it made. Like there's probably so many little sub details that you're just never gonna be able to fix. So I think if you did like an engine upgrade on Quake 3 and like upgraded it to Vulkan, that would probably work better, but the problem is someone probably already made like a Vulkan backend renderer for that game. So basically you're just like trying to extract that specific code out of the model here, and then, you know, someone already made it, so you could just grab that anyway. So it's like kind of pointless to do that. Same thing with like Unreal Tournament 99. Someone already has like a Vulkan backend along with DirectX 12, so there's no point in trying to create one. So what we're trying to do here is like a lot more complicated. It's basically the entire game, and it's trying to create an engine and feature set based off of like the existing data, just trying to get it to like all fit together to be the original game. Yeah, this compound engineering just burns tokens. It's crazy. It seems to give like way better results though compared to just standard plan mode, because this does like research and will like spawn off agents to like bring back new information and stuff, which is really awesome. But it runs out of context pretty quick. It seems like it'll apply a couple fixes and then it's like gotta clear the context window again. Alright, we're just gonna start it again. I guess that's why it's burning through context so fast, because it does all this stuff first and then now it's actually gonna start coding. And then by the time it gets done with this one change, it's like out. Okay, built, so we're just gonna try it again. Basically no difference. Hey, look at that, made some progress. Let's run it manually. Okay, so we have some fog going on now. Some clipping issues with these lights. So as you can see, there's like that like drop ceiling, and then there's lights, and the lights are in the drop ceiling and where it needs to like, it needs to clip it differently. Here's its latest build. Well, anyway. So it's definitely making progress, and there seems to be some fog now. I don't know. Oh, you know what? I think this map has fog on the outside where like the helicopter is. But interiors, it should not have fog. Yeah. Okay, so it definitely fixed a few things, and that's definitely what I'm gonna have to do. Have to update the plan to... Wait, let me try it again. Okay. Just gonna keep telling it I have new screenshots. But yeah, I have to update the plan to basically force it to debug everything, like debug logging, and actually like running the game. I wish I could find a way to like have it auto screenshot or something. I don't know if that's possible or not. I mean, if it just literally just presses the print screen and it goes into that screenshots folder, like that would actually work. Yeah, still a skybox issue or something? I don't know. Oh, it's missing a air sky shader. Oh, that's a little bit different. Let's try it manually. Okay. It's definitely better. It's still really wonky though. So not completely fixed. Alright, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some debugging stuff in the Claude MD. I think I'll do it right here. I literally asked Claude Opus how to tell Claude Code to take screenshots, which is hilarious. Oh, okay, better. I'm trying to think of like what is the best way to tell it to do this. So I don't want it to add like for every single line it adds, you know, debug log it. I guess it would have to be like features or whatever. Yeah, this is kind of a pain because Wayland doesn't allow you to actually screenshot anything because it's for security or whatever. So let's see if this works now before I dig into that more. Yeah, I would say that's not great. I think what I'll do is I'll just make it like dump a screenshot out into like /temp. Because there's no real way to screenshot on Wayland, at least like not an easy way. Okay, BGFX has screenshots, that's good. I think that's pretty good. It's hard to know without like testing it. So what this is gonna do is for new or modified features, it will add debug logging and then run the game to test the logs, make sure it's correct. And screenshots will be saved to temp/debug, and then always debug to verify new code. Only issues is it can't like really move around in the game world on its own. I would have to like make it spawn in a different location. Like it would have to do that automatically or add code to randomly do it. So it's like really complicated to actually like test it. Oh, it's putting it in /. That's not the right thing. Whatever, we'll see if it works. Oh, TGA writer. Okay. Debug TGA. Ah, it works. Whatever. Too big to read. Oh, Jesus. This is the problem. That's why I said PNG, so it's like somewhat compressed. Oh, it's like 4 megs. Can't. Discard. Okay, the TGA worked. Good. PNG worked. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, it has to pull in stuff to convert it. But JPEG will be a lot more compressed, so it shouldn't take up as much context. I wish it was just a little bit smaller. Like, we could have just skipped that step entirely. Like, it could have been like, oh, TGAs are actually going to be like too big to read, so we can just save them as like JPEGs, or we'll convert them to PNGs, or ask me what to do. But instead, I had to be like, yeah, let's convert it to JPEG instead of just knowing that. Okay, now let's see if it's in there. Yes. So this is only 150K, which is good. That should work better. Now, I guess I'll have it plan out the whole like debugging system for just rendering. So that way we'll know if it's actually like perfect or not, and it'll be able to fix everything automatically. That should be enough. Once this is done, we're going to deepen the plan if possible. It needs to have as many details as possible so it's able to actually test everything correctly. Or at least like write debugging code to test it. It already made like 1 million tests and they all passed, but clearly it still sucks. Okay, good. It's like refining it. So this is like a new plan. Alright, let's see what's going on here. Okay, debug logging and rendering plan. This is just like the changes. Maybe we'll just go in here. Oh boy, what is all this stuff? Well, it is the 12th. Factoring, logging. Logging analysis. Jesus. Okay, this is like... I think this is things it found. I'm not entirely sure. Let's just go into plans. Alright. That's good. Verify via debugging workflow. Confirm no crashes or rendering artifacts. Yeah. That's good. Some of this is... It feels like hard to actually follow. Because it's like meant for the AI. I don't know. I think it's just like too much information, really. Alright, now we're gonna start work. Oh, Jesus. Alright. Just continue. Don't need a new branch every, like, modification. Like, every time I start work, it shouldn't make a new branch. But I probably need to start committing stuff. Or, like, more often. Okay, first test. Cool. Maybe it'll pick up that screenshot there. See, why is it exiting prematurely like that? I would like to know. Okay, that one I think worked. Compacting. I feel like it's all I do here. Makes a plan and it compacts. Okay, didn't find any errors, but I can definitely see a couple. Okay, made a new plan. This is just taking forever. It's like a lot of it just trying to make plans and then I have to approve it and then test it. It's a lot more difficult than just letting it do its thing. It needs to run it with timeout because this just keeps like running more instances. It's kind of an issue. Alright, we are back again. It's now the next day around 4 o'clock. So what I did last night was switch the model from low thinking to the highest tier. And then I told it what was wrong. So it ended up doing a whole bunch of stuff for like probably an hour at total. And then as you can see, it applied a whole bunch of fixes here. And basically said that everything was completed and that it's working now. And I saw it run a test. I saw it like bring the window up and everything looked right, but then I went over here and I did out of the build directory, I ran it, right? And it's still like screwed up, like identical, as if nothing changed. So I was like, okay, whatever you did here, I said, this is like completely broken. Like, what the hell are you doing? So then it ran it again, relinked, rebuilt, whatever, ran it, and I was like, okay, the texture looks right on that like mirror thing. And I was like, I stopped it and said it worked. And I realized, okay, it's actually doing it through this like debug folder. So I ran it, and now we have a proper texture here. And everything basically looks correct. So performance is like not great, but that doesn't really matter. Like as far as I know, most things are working correctly. Like most of the wall textures and like the fog seems to work. The majority of things are working, which is awesome. As you can see, there's like still some glitchiness here with like the skybox or whatever. Like you can actually tell that it is actually a box. And that these are just like pictures and the order's like screwed up or whatever. But yeah, it doesn't really matter at the moment. Everything seems to render correctly now. There's still like a lot of bugs. Obviously, like that helicopter up there was not working correctly. Yeah, as you can see, the helicopter here is missing some panels or something, and the blades are missing. I think the blades are supposed to be spinning possibly as well. So there's no like animations. But yeah, I had to up the thinking on it, and then it actually fixed everything. So that was the major issue with it, because I wasn't getting anywhere on like the lowest mode, even though it implemented most of the rendering on low. It's just, it got stuck on this one problem and could not figure it out no matter what I did. Now that this is working, what we're gonna do is probably make this into a multi-parter, because this is just gonna be like a 6-hour video of me like trying to get the next thing to work. So yeah, this is gonna be part 1, getting like map loading to work and rendering properly, along with like the whole build system and whatnot, and setting up like debugging. And then part 2, I think, you know, fix more of the rendering stuff maybe, and then work on user interface. Because right now, I'm pretty sure it doesn't have like any of the Soldier of Fortune UI stuff working, or, you know, like in the beginning where you can select your character model and in-game name and stuff like that, along with like network settings, whatever, server browser, everything. So this is where I'm going to end part 1. We got rendering working for the most part. A couple little glitches here, but I'll fix those before the UI stuff. And then I'll see you in the next video. If you enjoyed this, want to follow along, definitely subscribe, give me a like, share it with other people, because I want to get this thing like 99% working. Like, I want to be able to actually like play this with like upgraded networking and better hit detection, more gore, possibly like upgrade the textures and lighting. I think lighting would be a huge upgrade if I could do something like that. You know, volumetric fog, all like the modern like rendering techniques and post-processing stuff. Like, make it modern, but still keep like the old school feel of this game. So yeah, I'm gonna end it right here. Stay tuned for part 2, and I'll see you in the next video.